Hickory. If you're new here, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be showing you some easy $5 meals. These could be breakfast, lunch, or dinner, whatever you want to do. They are minimal ingredients and a lot of them are super healthy for you. So I have asked my community here on YouTube and on Instagram if you want to see some alternatives to some of the meals that I make. So I'm not going to necessarily show you the alternative, but I am going to type them out in the description box below and I will mention them as I am listing the ingredients. So for example, I'm making a quinoa dish today and you could definitely use regular pasta noodles if you wanted. And I'm just going to write those down with all of my recipes. And of course, if you have any specific questions, just drop them down in the comment box down below. If you have not already, please hit that subscribe button. It would mean the absolute world to me. And if you are excited, let's get right into the video. This first recipe is a fancy grilled cheese at a low budget cost. This is my take on a sandwich that I used to get when we lived in downtown Boulder and I used to walk to work. So this is sourdough bread and I took some of the Simple Truth cream cheese and put that on the inside of the bread. And then I went ahead and sliced up a Fuji apple and took some of the Tofurkey Hickory smoked turkey as well as some arugula, and you are actually going to put that turkey and arugula on after you toast the apples and cream cheese. The last ingredient and my favorite ingredient is going to be these caramelized balsamic onions. I'm just using a white onion. I cut it as thinly as I possibly could. I'm going to put some water in the pot here, a splash of balsamic, a little bit of olive oil and salt and pepper. Then I'm going to sweat out the onions until they become fragrant, and then I'm going to put that on top of my grilled cheese as well. This is super tasty and it adds a really wonderful pickled element. Alternatively, you could use some red onions that you've pickled on your own, but this is super tasty. And if you just didn't want the sourdough bread, you could put all of this on a lettuce wrap. It definitely will not be the same flavor, but it will be a low carb option. I'm just gonna put all of this together like a typical grilled cheese and serve it with some French fries or some chips and the other half of that apple with some peanut butter and hemp seeds, and I am gonna call it good. This was super delicious and I urge you to try it.
Jump into the car on a Friday night, I wanna drive with you. Looking for a bar in the nearest town, I've never seen a sky so blue. We don't have a plan and the night is young, it doesn't matter what we do. There ain't nobody like you look so beautiful. And I'm so lucky to be yours. And you're taking me high. Ain't nobody like you. I'm not coming down. Ain't nobody like you.
The next dish is going to be this really delicious taco roll-up, I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna use lettuce wraps, but you could use tortillas if you want. You're going to need one Beyond sausage or sausage of your choice. You're gonna need some Southwest blend, or you can just put together some black beans, corn, and bell pepper. You're gonna need chili powder, cumin, and a little bit of taco sauce. And what you're gonna do is put all of this together and it's going to be your taco meat. You will see that I actually tried to put these into burgers, but it just didn't work out. I probably could have finagled with it and figured out how to make them into patties and put maybe some cornstarch in there to make it a little thicker, but I just ended up grounding it up kind of like I would regular ground beef, and I turned it into a meat substitute for this dish. It was super delicious, and I'm gonna make a lime crema sauce with that. So you're gonna need sour cream and lime juice, and then I'm going to use some guacamole. I'm gonna put it on some romaine lettuce and you are good to go. This was super easy, super budget friendly, and very filling. I like this because it's kind of guilt-free. I don't use that term a lot because I'm not a fan, but you can eat as much as you want basically. You can eat so many of these until you're full, and that's why I love this one.
Looking for a bar in the
For dinner, I am actually going to make a BBQ Bean Quesadilla, and I'm going to do some cabbage and Brussels sprout slaw. So I have some Brussels sprouts and some red cabbage. I'm going to use green onions. Raw onions are a big migraine trigger for me. I don't know if any of you are the same, but green onions don't bother me. So I'm going to put a little bit of the Sir Kensington vegan mayo in there, as well as salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, and a splash of red wine vinegar. So let me show you how I put this together. To make this a little bit healthier, you could put this over a baked potato or over some brown rice, but these beans are substituting a pulled pork. If you didn't get that by now, you could definitely use jackfruit if you wanted, but we really like these white beans. I think it gives it an interesting element because I never had a quesadilla like this growing up, so I urge you to try this. I definitely suggest using your favorite barbecue sauce because this really makes it, and just use your favorite type of cheese. We are using some vegan pepper jack. I'm going to put some oil in the pan here and cook it like a regular quesadilla. I like nights like this because it's just me and my son after I put my daughter to sleep, and we just kind of veg out and have a whole plate of food. So he loves having nacho nights and taco nights and pizza nights, all that junky food that you can just put on a big plate and share. He loves that. So this is super fun to have for a big family dinner, or if you just want to have a nice little dinner with your toddler. 'Cause this life's so much more. I am going to move on to my Brussel and cabbage slaw. I'm going to use some green onions that I'm chopping up in here, and I am just making this kind of like a pork pulled barbecue sandwich would be made with that coleslaw. So you could definitely use sour cream and salsa like your typical quesadilla toppings, but I had a lot of veggies to use up, and this is my suggestion now. This meal was super budget friendly and it made a lot of food. So I like to use a lot of ingredients in a lot of different ways. If you are ever stumped on some ingredients that you may have just kind of sitting and rotting and you're thinking of throwing it away, I urge you not to. Maybe your family won't eat it, but go ahead and cook it up, and maybe you have some local people that are in need of a meal or two. I know you can't necessarily drop off prepared foods at your local shelters, but you may be able to find someone that needs it more than you do instead of throwing out your food. I'm definitely guilty of not doing this as much as I should, but I do always like to do this whenever I get a chance. Gentle, good. Alrighty, my friends, this meal is actually not $5, but it can be. So I really love the Rouse marinara sauce, and I bought some for myself this week because I wanted to splurge. That's what I like to splurge on because I love food, you know that. So I'm going to make some quinoa, chicken, rosé, Parmesan, if that makes sense. So let me just go through what I have going on here. You could certainly use pasta for this, but I'm gonna make it a little bit differently, and I'm gonna use some rainbow quinoa. So a cup of this combined with 2 cups of veggie broth, and then I'm going to top it with some Rouse marinara, about half of this jar, and then I have some of the Simple Truth vegan cream cheese, and I'm gonna make a rosé sauce. I always love broccoli with my tomato pasta dishes, So I'm going to put that in there, and then I'm going to use some of these Simple Truth tenders. I'm cleaning out the freezer and I just need to get them out of here. I really love these. They are vegan. I get them at Kroger, and that's a really great price point. It's about $3.99 and you get a bunch of them in there. I have my helper here, of course, and I'm gonna bake these at 400 for around 15 minutes to get them crispy. And in the meantime, I'm gonna assemble this and I'm gonna show you how I put everything together. Are you excited? Can you say? Excited. All right, here we go. So I threw some olive oil in there, and I'm also going to throw some Italian seasoning. I forgot about that, just to add some extra to there, and a little bit of garlic powder. And then 2 cups of your liquid. I'm using veggie stock. You can certainly use water if you want to cut down on your sodium intake, or chicken stock or beef stock, whatever one that you like. I'm sure that homemade bone broth would be really good in this as well. I'm gonna give it a stir, and I have high heat on right now. I'm gonna wait for that to come to a boil, and then I will reduce it to a simmer, cover it, and turn my heat down to low. And after that, I'm just gonna let it go for around 20 minutes, and I'll just add the broccoli right to this at about 5 to 10 minutes. What I did here was add the cream cheese in little chunks. My tiny helper may have hit a button that he was not supposed to, but it is pretty straightforward. Just add them in little chunks. The cream cheese will melt as you stir it. Just keep it on low heat so nothing burns or anything like that. And then your quinoa is good to go. Just add some salt and pepper, put a lid on it, and then heat up your sauce in the meantime. Delilah, is it good? Alrighty, my friends, that is going to do it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed these amazing, budget-friendly, and delicious recipes. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and as always, stay adventurous, stay creative. I'll see you next time. Bye.